Welcome, friends, back to Breaking It Down with Brickitect episode 6. If you're new to this series, this is where I answer the questions you guys asked me in the comments of the previous episode. I say this every single time, but once again, we had a lot of great questions, and I had to choose just a few of them. And we're going to get started here with the first one, which is from Ninja Bricks, who asks, if Lego shut down, what would you do? Personally, I would go back and collect sets that I missed out on, or sets that are older than me. And I think that's probably the best thing you can do. Try to get stuff that you missed, or maybe just build stuff of your own. You'd pretty much be limited to what's out there. And the good news about Lego is there is a lot of history there. So I'm sure you could stay busy for a really long time. The problem is it would probably get a little expensive to do that. The next question comes from the Ginger Frog, who says, who do you like more, Clarkman or Roxy Bear? And you guys already know my answer to this. Of course it's Roxy Bear. She is way easier to take care of, forever loyal, just the best dog you can imagine. So Roxy Bear all day. The next question is from Brickitect, who says, what will happen when you run out of space for your Lego? And this is a question that haunts me every day because it's happening really quickly. I've got a couple options. I can either break down my boxes and sort out my pieces, or I can put my stuff into storage, or I can build a storage place in our backyard, which is something I've been considering. But you know things are bad when you have an entire basement that is getting filled with Lego and you're running out of space. I need to figure something out. So I don't know. That's the question that we're going to run into probably next year sometime. I'll take you through that process when we figure it out. Next up, we have Unreal Lego, who says, do you regret not buying a specific Lego theme like Monster Fighters? If so, then would you buy them on eBay or Amazon? Yeah, I do regret not buying a lot of stuff. I have way more regrets on things that I didn't buy versus things I bought. And there's so many sets that I look at now on eBay, for example, and they're so expensive and it's hard to go back. So I guess my advice to you is if there is something that you really like, and especially if you're like me and you're waiting for a deal for it, don't wait too long. Just get it if you really love it, because all you're going to do is end up paying way more money later if you miss out on it. Next, Kai Love says, hey Greg, I love your content and I got 2 questions for you. Okay, you're gonna get a 2-for-1. What's your thoughts of this year for collecting Lego sets? And second question, would you ever want to plan a trip to Denmark to the Lego headquarters? Well, my thoughts on this year of Lego collecting, I think they're doing a lot of great stuff, at least with the sets. Like, I'm not disappointed with the sets that have come out this year. The promos, on the other hand, very disappointed with. I've already talked about that, so I'm not going to go on a rant here. But your question about Denmark, I would love to do that. In fact, I would really love it if Lego wanted to pay for that trip and send us out and treat us like brickitect royalty. Guy can dream, right? That'd be really cool. Next question comes from Vladimir again, who says, what do you think of a classic space re-release in the form of either a whole wave or a one-off idea submission, like the updated Galaxy Explorer? Dude, here's what I would love Lego to do. And I think this would sell like hotcakes. You re-release the sets from like the 80s and 90s that I grew up loving, just put those back on the shelf, put an exorbitant price tag on them, and people like me that were kids one day and now are adults and have discretionary income will go out and buy those things like crazy, and it'd give a chance for kids today to experience what an old Lego set was like. They may not appreciate it that much because things, if you do look back, once you wipe away the nostalgia, the sets weren't, I don't think, as cool as they are today, but it would be so cool to be able to relive that. Did I say cool way too many times in a sentence? It'd be so cool to go relive that. So that's what I would love them to do, just a straight up re-release. Next question comes from Gary Brungard, who says, hey Greg, I recently purchased a large Lego yard sale lot and they are a bit dirty. What do you use when washing them and how long should I soak them? I basically put them into a tub full of dishwashing soap and just kind of shuffle them around in there a bit to try to get the dirt off of them. If they are super dirty, what I'll do then is take a toothbrush and kind of scrub them a little bit. I don't think it makes a difference how long you soak them. I think just putting them in like hot water sometimes just helps loosen that up. But you probably are if they're filthy, and I've had a couple of lots that have been filthy. Just get that toothbrush in there and scrub the heck out of them. Some of the pieces you may not be able to salvage, like they just might be beyond dirty, but most of the stuff you'll probably be able to get pretty clean if you put a little bit of time into it. Listen to a Missing Pieces podcast, shameless self-promotion there, or anything else you like listening to, and just sit there and have a good time with it. Next question comes from Brickmox Daily. It says, your vids are awesome. Well, thank you. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. My question would be, are you planning to do more on your city/amusement park, or is that not in your future plans? It absolutely is. I want to do a whole podcast on my plans for the future, my vision for the future of Brickitect, where I'd like to see this go. And I would love to set up a space where I can bring back classic land and make that a thing. I think people would really love that. Do like a 15,000 part series where every week I just keep adding little things to it. I think it'd be great. And it's one of my big dreams. And you guys know when I have big dreams, I do what it takes to make them happen. So stay tuned for that. I think that's going to be once Clarkman goes to school and I've got a little bit of time on my hands. Next up, we got Squirtle Studios. I think a repeat offender says, do you think you will buy Playmobil for Clarkman? You know, I've looked at Playmobil. I checked it out at the store. It's kind of cool. I feel like maybe he's getting a little bit too old for that, although he is still playing with Duplo. But I look at this stuff and I'm like, these things are kind of cool. The prices aren't terrible, and they have some cool models and things like that. Why do I keep saying cool all the time? Stop me, guys. Don't let me say cool anymore. How can I even edit this out? Next question. From RL's Legos. My question re-asked. Please don't take this wrong. That always worries me when I see that. But you said re-asked, so I'm going to answer it this time. It says, what would you do if a natural disaster struck your area, like a tornado or something, and you lost 90% of your collection? What would you do? And where would the fate of the channel rest? Well, I think I would do pretty much what anyone would do. I would start rebuilding again. I probably wouldn't go back and get sets that I already owned from the nostalgia. The most important thing to me, now that I'm thinking about this, like this actually happened, the videos of us building the sets and enjoying the sets are way more important to me than the sets themselves. That's what I would want to save. As long as I had those videos, that's really all I could ask for. And that's my most important possession that I own, are these 2 hard drives, or maybe it's like 4 hard drives at this point, that I have all of our content on. The rest of the stuff, it can all be replaced. Moving on, next question from Brickclicker says, have you thought of ever selling sets when you have them built to save space and fund future Lego projects? That kind of goes with the other question you had about saving space. No, I would never sell Lego unless I have to, because I would regret it. Just like I see other people selling stuff like at yard sales and things. It's like, okay, you sold me that really cool thing that you loved. Dang it, I said cool again. You sold me that thing you loved as a kid and I gave you $5 for it. You went out and you bought a value meal or something, and now you have nothing to show for it. Someday you're going to regret that. So I would only sell my stuff if I really needed the money. Like if it came down to like, if our way of life is going to be impacted negatively if I don't sell this stuff, that's the only way I would do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep hoarding it in here until I'm completely out of space and all my sets just fall on me and I die. That escalated quickly. Let's go to MFL Vids, who says, if you could change anything from your past, what would it be? I would have started doing YouTube the day that it became available, and I would have went all in documenting my life from 2006 until now. I probably would have skipped college for the most part, or maybe I would have went to college for graphic design, because I feel like that is the one thing that I could have taken in college that would help me drastically right now. But I would have done YouTube earlier. I would have probably skipped college and the debt associated with that I worked really hard to pay off. And I just would have went all in on YouTube. But you never really know it, all the way back then. You don't know what things are going to turn into. And I took the safe route and I tried to do the job thing. And I played all my cards the way that people anticipated. But sometimes you got to throw the joker out there. And that's kind of what I wish I would have done. But I love that question. Geez, that could be a whole Missing Pieces podcast. Thank you for that. Next up, Ben the Brick Builder follows up with, are you and Mrs. Brickitect going to have another child? I get this question, probably the most common question that I get on every episode. And I would love to bring her on to talk about this, but the simple answer is no. I would love to have another child. I would love to have a whole bunch of them. I think Clark has brought so much to my life, and I would love to bring other kids into this world that I could give a really nice life to, and we could just have a giant family. It would make me really happy. But the thing is, I'm not the one that has to carry him for 9 months and give birth to him. I'm just the one that gets to have a lot of fun building Lego sets and stuff years later. So maybe we could adopt. I would consider doing that. Again, this is a Missing Pieces podcast. I think it'd be great to have her on. Let me know if you guys would love to hear a podcast about that, because I think she'd be down for coming on and we could have this discussion. The next question comes from Tracy, who says, what has surprised you while watching Clark's Lego journey? I'll tell you, the thing that surprises me the most is how much he retains and how much he's progressed in just a short period of time. Like, to be 4.5 years old and he's cranking his way through some of these sets. I mean, he messes up and he tends to get ahead of himself in the instructions and stuff, but just seeing him go from the little dude that couldn't do really anything when I brought him on the channel to where he's at now, and to know where that's going to go in the future, to the point where we're like partners in this collecting process, is just really awesome. And it's probably my favorite thing about what I'm doing here. Really is. The next question is a bit of a downer. This is from Christian. He says, Greg, do you think Lego will ever die? And I thought that was a good question. This would be a good I'm just going to shut down Breaking It Down, and we're just going to do podcasts from now on. I could talk about this stuff. I try to do this quickly, but I could talk about this. Do I think Lego would ever die? I could see it happening. I know they're really strong financially right now, but Today's kids, I think, mostly like the digital stuff. I think they like playing Fortnite, Minecraft. They like interacting with other people. And I know Lego's trying to do that with like Hidden Side, where you're kind of getting technology involved. But I do wonder if there's a day where these kids kind of grow up not loving Lego as much as maybe my generation did. And then when their kids come along, being that they don't have the nostalgia for it, their kids are even less involved. And after a few generations of that, Lego is kind of just like a thing of the past. Let me know what you guys think about that. Again, that'd be a good topic to talk about, but that's kind of my thoughts. I think Lego, I hope it's going to be around forever, and I could see that being around forever, but I just wonder how technology is going to impact Lego negatively as time goes by. The next question comes from Bored Zach, or is it Bored Zach? He says, do you ever second guess a video before you upload it, or do you just have faith it'll do well? Also, I'm a big fan. I just make the videos that I want. I don't make videos thinking that they're going to be slam dunks or touchdowns or whatever sports analogy you want to use. I just make the videos that I feel called to make and that I'm passionate about. And sometimes they get surprised and they do really well. Sometimes they don't do so well. But the way I see it is, if even just a couple people watch my stuff, that's pretty cool, right? And if I can get a comment where someone's like, hey, I enjoyed your video, or you inspired me to do something similar, dude, it's totally worth it. The next question comes from probably the best username ever, brickitect's #1 fan. I don't mean this to sound rude. Never a good thing when a question starts out that way. But do you think you would be able to do things today if you stayed at your old job? And I don't think the answer is no. I saw the trajectory of this channel when I was at my job, and I just didn't put a lot of time into it, because when you work 40 plus 50 hours a week, it's like you get home, you don't want to spend a lot of time making videos. I don't think I would be putting the daily work into this that it takes to have it at this level if I was still at my job. So I'm thankful that I've had this opportunity. Even if it's all going to crash here in 4 months, I've really enjoyed it along the way. Our last question of the day comes from Dr. McBrick, who takes us to the future by saying, I know it's hard to imagine, but in 15 years, when Clarkman is off to college, do you see yourself still doing Lego into your later years? And again, that kind of ties into what I would like for the future of this channel. But what I would really love to see, just the short Cliff's Notes version of this, and we'll make a whole podcast about this coming up here. But what I'd really love to do is maybe get away from sets and set buying and sharing sets to more of creating things that means something to me, and that's my own unique creation, or my own creation as it's known in this community, and share that and just be creative and do something that's mine and something that I can be proud of, and have people maybe admire my work or give me suggestions on how to make it better. And I don't know, I just want to take Lego from collecting sets and building those sets to the creative thing that I really need in my life, along with video making. So I do see myself in 15 years when Clarkman goes off to college. I see myself still doing this. I think it'll be a lonely experience not having him with me, because I do love that. But I think it'll still be happening, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys. So thank you so much to everyone that asked a question during this episode. If you didn't get your question answered, or if you have a new question, anything other than the most basic stuff like what is your favorite this, what do you think of this theme, someone's texting me, I think it's time to go. Thank you guys, and we will see you in the next Breaking It Down with Brickitect episode 7.